So my credentials are the following photos. The first photos I'm going to show you are when I'm at 60 milligrams, and then eventually I go down to 40 milligrams, then 20, 15, 10, 5, and then 2.5. Yeah, so I was on the taper for a while. I was on 60 milligrams for about 5 months, and then every couple months we would, bring the dose down. So I was on prednisone for about a year and a half in total. And at first, I did gain a little bit of weight. I did have a little bit of acne problems, as you can see in the earlier pictures. But it really cleared up after I changed my diet. And the funny thing was, I actually changed my diet to help out my autoimmune disease, which is why I was on the prednisone. So even though I wasn't trying to lose prednisone weight while I was still on prednisone, I actually lost weight despite being on prednisone. I didn't lose weight after prednisone. I lost weight while I was on it, and after I was off prednisone, I had zero weight to lose. I literally didn't look like I was on prednisone at all. I didn't have any acne problems whatsoever, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly the foods that I ate because I actually wrote down which foods I ate. And the basic diet that I followed, because at first when I started to lose the weight, it was a low-fat raw vegan diet, very low in sodium, pretty low in fat, and now I'm currently on a low-fat cooked and raw vegan diet. So just a lot more fruits than probably the normal vegan. So it's sort of like raw till 4 sort of diet. I'll probably eat like a couple meals of fruit throughout the day, but I will eat like some cooked potatoes, pasta, oatmeal, and stuff like that. And I'll show you guys some of the days where I would do that while I was still on prednisone. I mean, granted, at the time I was probably on maybe like 5 or 10 milligrams of prednisone, so it really doesn't give you that much of any like bad side effects when you're on that little of a dose. But I still kept the weight off, whether it was cooked or raw vegan. So I feel like the main thing that you have to do is go low sodium, go low fat, go vegan, and you will have virtually no problems at all on prednisone. That's all you have to do. So instead of gaining the weight, instead of getting huge and bloated, and instead of having acne and being miserable from it, why don't you just not eat those foods that'll do that to you? It's crazy. I mean, like, I think a lot of people just don't know, which is completely fine. Like when the first couple months, I didn't know what to do. I was still learning everything. So I made mistakes. I did gain that initial couple pounds, but I was being proactive, so that's why I only gained a couple pounds, so I only had a couple pounds to lose. But after going on a low-fat, low-sodium vegan diet, very low sodium, at first I was eating like maybe a couple hundred milligrams a day, because fruits and vegetables are not going to have a whole lot, because low-fat raw vegan is fruit for breakfast, fruit for lunch, and giant salad for dinner, maybe with a little bit more fruit. So that's very, very low sodium. And cooked vegan diet would be like oatmeal for breakfast, potatoes and ketchup for lunch. The ketchup, that might have some sodium, so you may not want to do that. I'm sure you could find some other sort of dipping sauce that's pretty low sodium, and maybe you could have some pasta for dinner. That'd be definitely a cooked vegan one. But I actually wrote down everything that I ate, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what I ate day to day, so it's not just, oh, I ate this diet. I will say, on this day I ate this, so then you guys can see that. Okay, so this is 4-2-2013. This is about a week or so into me transitioning to a low-fat, raw vegan lifestyle. So, keep in mind that my stomach was not nearly as big as it is now, because now it's stretched out a whole lot. I can eat a lot of volume now. I couldn't before because I was eating a lot more dense, calorically packed animal foods. So I'm definitely eating a lot more than I used to. And on top of that, I also weighed about 20 pounds less because my autoimmune disease affected my nervous system, so I had a lot of atrophy in my legs. Like, my legs looked like wheelchair legs because I used to be in one. So keep that in mind. I'm about 150 pounds now, and I used to weigh about 130 pounds when I was eating this way. So I definitely would eat more than this now if I was still a raw vegan. So anyway, with that said, breakfast for 4-2-2013. I had one baby seedless watermelon and a mango. So that's like the Tommy Atkins mango, is like just a typical average sized mango that you would find in like Wegmans or something. Brunch, I had a kiwi and a smoothie of one banana, one orange, another kiwi, some frozen mixed berries, and some water. And I washed 20 milligrams of prednisone down with that. Lunch was 2 pounds of red grapes, So that's just like the box of red grapes. So 2 pounds of red grapes and 3 dates, and then a snack before dinner. I had 2 oranges before I did some physical therapy type things, and 2 oranges after that. And then when I actually got home, I made a V8 juice. So for that, it says I had 2 Roma tomatoes, 2 carrots, 2 stalks of celery, some kale stems, broccoli stems, half a lemon, and some. I just added a little bit of garlic salt, because actually at the time when I went low-fat raw vegan initially, I was like scared that I wouldn't get enough sodium, and that's normally not something you have to worry about on prednisone. But after a few weeks or like a month or so, I realized that the body needs very, very little amount of sodium. Sodium is super important, but just because something is important doesn't really mean you need a lot of it. So that's actually why I added salt to that, because I was scared I wasn't getting enough sodium, which is not normally a problem for people on prednisone. It's not a problem for people on low-fat raw vegan diet either. But anyway, I also, with that V8, I also had a giant salad, and I'll throw up a picture of me eating a giant salad. I might have thrown it up earlier. I don't know. I haven't done the video yet. So this giant salad says that it contains about 4 cups of spinach and a little kale. Probably just had some left over. 1 zucchini, 5 mushrooms, 2 cups of broccoli, 1/4 of a pepper, 1/4 of an onion. Now I eat way bigger salads, so I think I just had those things laying around and I had to get rid of them. 1 apple, 1 avocado, and 1 cup of carrot juice for dressing. Oh, so I mixed the avocado and carrot juice together to make the dressing. So be creative when you make salad dressing, especially if you're raw vegan. You have to be creative. So it says I ate about 3/4 of it because the salad dressing got pretty old pretty quick. So it was good at first, but then it got old quick. And it says I washed it down with 1 Atalfa mango. So that's one of the smaller yellow mangoes. They're also called champagne mangoes. So you may know them by that name. So breakfast for 4/3/2013. I had 1 baby seedless watermelon and a green smoothie. It says 1 teaspoon of powdered kelp. That was weird. Like, I think that's when I was eating some weird stuff at first, because when I first started changing my diet, I bought a lot of weird things, because I thought that weird things meant you're being healthy, but really you just need to eat whole fruits and vegetables. Like, if someone said, hey, do you want to add a teaspoon of powdered kelp to your smoothie? I'd be like, what the fuck? That's fucking weird. Get that shit out of my smoothie. But back then, I was just trying different things. So 1 teaspoon of powdered kelp, 2 cups of kale, 1 apple, half an avocado, half a lemon, half a cucumber, some ginger, and about 2 cups of water. 20 milligrams of prednisone. Lunch was 9 oranges, and then for a snack, I guess later I had 2 more oranges. Last cooked meal, and last meal with grains. So I was still transferring, I guess you could say, over to a low-fat raw vegan diet. So this was actually my last cooked meal ever. And I don't think it was vegan, actually, so it was my last non-vegan meal ever, too. So exciting stuff. Excited to be a low-fat raw vegan. It'll be interesting to see how I feel over the course of the next couple weeks, that I will be fully on the 80-10-10 diet, although I probably will be closer to 75-15-10 diet, with fat being 15% instead of 10%. Anyway, I had some chicken with rice, cooked mushrooms, snap peas, broccoli, and asparagus. I remember my friend cooked that. And the next day, when I was finally a full low-fat raw vegan, breakfast was 4 mangoes, 20 milligrams of prednisone. Lunch was 2 cantaloupes. For a snack, I had 3 bananas and 3 dates. And for a salad, I had 6 cups of kale, 1 Roma tomato, 1 large white button mushroom, half a cucumber, half a zucchini, a lot of broccoli stalks, a 1/4 of a pepper. I don't know why I used 1/4 of a pepper. That's weird. And 12 pistachios. And I had a juice, which was a lot of kale stalks, 2 oranges, the pineapple core. I love juicing pineapple cores because instead of throwing them away, you can juice them. 6 kind of skinny carrots and some ginger root. And I had 1 mango and 2 dates blended with the juice of an orange for dressing. So again, getting creative with the dressing. So I'm going to move way further down to where I was raw vegan for a while, so you guys can see what I ate when my stomach was big enough, and after I stopped eating weird things. So I'm fast forwarding all the way to 11/3/2013, November 3rd, and for breakfast I had 8 cups of apple orange juice. I think it was primarily orange juice, but that's like 2 of these mason jars. It's like 2 of these full of juice. Apple orange juice, that's definitely going to have a lot more calories than like a green juice. So that's probably around 800 calories or so. Lunch was 13 kind of small Bartlett pears, maybe 800 calories again. Dinner was a big old salad with 3 oranges and 3 Brazil nuts blended for dressing. And dessert, I had 2 big apples and some Medjool and Holloway dates. So what I would do with that is I would take the apples, chop them up, and then just squish some dates onto there and eat that. So that's really good. It's almost like caramel apples, I swear. All right, so this is 11/13/2013. Breakfast was 8.5 cups of navel orange juice, and I'm juicing this all myself with my own juicer. Lunch was 9 bananas, so my stomach is beginning to get a little bit bigger. It takes time, but it's getting bigger. Snack was a couple Deglet Nor dates, and dinner was 5.5 pomegranates worth of seeds, and then I also had 3 huge boiled sweet potatoes. So as you can see, I'm eating a little bit more, partially because my stomach has expanded at this point, and also on top of that, I just have gained more muscle at this point, just because of doing constant physical therapy and being on my feet and stuff. So we're gonna hop in the time machine again. This is to 4/13/2014. This is about a year after I went vegan. Almost a year and a half of me being on prednisone, and breakfast was a 1/4 gallon of orange juice. Lunch was some leftover rice and bean stuff with hot sauce and sugar and lots of sweet potatoes and ketchup. Let's see. Dinner was 1-pound box of whole wheat pasta with some homemade tomato sauce with lots of oregano and a little bit of sugar. Yeah, so you see, I was eating a lot more now. I ate a whole box of whole wheat pasta with gluten. Oh my god. So I was eating sugar. I was eating tons and tons of carbs. I had a 1/4 gallon of OJ for breakfast. I was still stick thin. People say that you're gonna gain weight if you eat a bunch of carbs, but here I am. I didn't have any weight to lose when I was coming off of prednisone because I was eating so little fat. I was eating so little sodium. I was eating so many carbohydrates, very slimming carbohydrates. All carbs are slimming. People say there's good carbs and bad carbs. The only bad carb is something that has some carbohydrates in it, but a lot more fat than you might think. Like people say, like, oh, pizza's a carb. No, pizza's got some carbohydrates. It's probably about almost like half and half carbohydrates and fat, and a little bit of protein mixed in there. So not exactly half and half, but people say things like that, and they say like, oh, cookies are all carbohydrates. No, they're like fucking half fat. Okay, maybe like 40% fat, but 10% or lower is a 10% or lower of fat in a food I would consider that a low fat food. Anything higher than that would be like maybe moderately fat. Anything like 30% or higher in fat that's high fat. I don't care what people say. So people will say that, oh, there's a study where people went on these low fat diets. No, a low fat diet is not 30% of your calories coming from fat. 10%, maybe 5% of your calories coming from fat is a low fat diet. That's exactly what I was doing. And if you want to have very minimal side effects, if you want to gain very little weight, if any, if you want to lose weight on prednisone, then going high carb, going vegan, going very low sodium would definitely work for you. I mean, people say like, oh, different diets work for different people. But I call bullshit on that theory because, first of all, one deer doesn't eat a different diet than another deer. And people will say, oh yeah, but humans have evolved so much more than other animals, and there's so much more variation. Bullshit again. People. Let's use training for an example. For running, if you want to get better at running, you need to run. Now, there's different ways to get faster at running, but they all revolve around running. You can do a lot of intervals, you can do a lot of easy runs, stuff like that. You can mix up any variation you want, and you'll probably get fast as long as you're consistent. But if you notice, the training all revolves around running. Now, if you want to lose weight, if you want to not gain weight, whatever your goal is, if you just want to be healthy, a vegan diet would work for you. Now, there's tons of different types of vegan diets. You could be a low-fat raw vegan, you could be a low-fat cooked vegan, you could mix those two things up. But as long as you're low-fat and vegan, you're going to be healthy. Just like if you run, you're going to get faster at running. So being healthy revolves around being low-fat vegan, in my opinion. And I just showed you guys exactly what I ate on those days, and I actually lost weight while on prednisone. where have you ever heard about someone losing weight while they were on prednisone? Not after prednisone, because like I said, I had no weight to lose when I got off prednisone. So I hope that helps. I hope that I was transparent enough for you. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below, and I will be sure to answer them. And hopefully I'll see you in another video.